So today I'm finally getting to create the video I've wanted to create for a while now. I wanted to create a how-to video for creating hand-drawn mandalas. It's something that I've been doing lately for stress relief and find it incredibly relaxing. Able to use my creative faculties. It's something also toxic free. That's been a challenge personally for me because I have MCS, it's multiple chemical sensitivities, and I'm not going to get into it in a huge way here, but it's something that people can look up. Also, dealing with a lot of stress, not only because of my MCS, I do have CPTSD as well, which I have dealt with in a huge manner. Like once I realized I had CPTSD as an adult, it was about 8 years ago or so, I've been able to confront it, deal with things in a lot of ways, but it can get triggered. Because of it, I find regular meditation, even though I'm trained as, ironically enough, I'm trained as a meditation coach, teacher. I can teach people how to teach others to do meditation. I know how to meditate. It's just difficult for me. And I just kept, because I come from a health and wellness background, I just kept training myself in every modality possible because I love it. But a lot of it does not help myself and those of us in the chronic illness community, which I wish people would believe. But anyways, yeah, even I discovered dot painting as a form of meditation. So I was dot painting mandalas, which was amazing because I was able to calm my mind. It was brilliant. But then even that paint I started to react to in an extreme way. So I was left trying to figure out what to do, and different ways of creating mandalas, I was just not finding it relaxing. So that is what this video is about, a way I have discovered to meditate once again, creating mandalas, but in a non-toxic way. And as I've been talking here, I've just been flipping through my designated art notebook. It is actually a notebook that has watercolor paper, and I do plan on coloring these at some point. For now, I just want to create them with pen. I did have the idea of creating them with pencil and then drawing over it with pen, but I've been able to just make the grid, which I'll show you how to do, and then just draw with pen. And sometimes it's not entirely perfect. I will show a way that you can correct it with this type of paper. You won't be able to do it with every type of paper, but with thicker paper you can. And if not in this video, I'll show another video and I'll post it on my page. Okay, so after all that, let's get to it. So, got a plain piece of paper here. Now this particular notebook, I don't know if it's going to be visible here, but there is a perforated line here. So, and then you can bend it and tear the sheets off. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because for measuring, I go from that perforated line to the edge and then from here to the edge. And so basically you're going to want to divide it, draw a line this way, equal portions here, draw a line this way, equal portions here. And I have already marked it out. As I was doing that, I'm like, why don't I just film today? So that is, I already used. Oh, and what you need here, I should have started with that. But what you need, ruler, compass, got a cool little compass. I got a few of them off of Amazon, and I will include the link. Hopefully they still sell these particular ones. I love them. They've got like a mechanical pencil on this side, and they're great. They weren't expensive, and they're great. And they come in like a little container. There is leads. I'm using a harder pencil lead, so it creates like a softer, like a less prominent line on my paper, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're going to erase it anyways after, but I don't know what these even are. If they're 2H or HB, and I believe, my memory's a little hazy on this because I purchased it so long ago, but I believe these are 4H pencil leads in here, which are quite hard, but I quite like that. And then an eraser. Obviously I use this a lot, but yeah, an eraser. And then you're going to need pens, which I have a lot of. I actually create these pens. This is the dot painting I did. I actually created a line of products and put a bunch of my designs on them. And so I have a lot of the samples around, but that's great. You can use whatever kind of pen is comfortable for you. And I like the black ink. So basically just find a pen that works really well for you, that you're comfortable with, and you like the color of, because it can be, it doesn't have to be black, it can be any color. These are going to be for you, and it's meant to be relaxing. It's not meant to be an exercise in stress and trying to make things perfect and in any way that way. Like they're for you. So you don't even have to follow what I'm doing, but I'm just showing what I'm doing so it can inspire, maybe my showing you this will inspire you in a way that's better for you, which is amazing. Like we all have our own ways of doing things. So anyways, I've marked a small dot, middle there, middle here, here, and here. So now I'm just going to grab my glasses and create a line. And you can use a different pencil. It depends what kind of compass you get, because you don't have to use this kind of a compass. You can get, whatever works for you. Just create a line. Here as well. And then this paper from the perforated edge down to here is 10¼ inches. I know I'm Canadian, I should be using centimeters, but I grew up aging myself. I learned inches long before centimeters, and they still make more sense to me. So yeah, 10¼ inches, so 5 1/8 here. So then, and then after saying that, I think I did actually use the centimeters. No, I didn't. Let's see what I used, because it's already drawn out here. Gone down 1 1/8. And you want to make sure you're drawing through the center. So I've created 2 equal parts here, because we're going to create a circle and we want all these equal parts. And with these lines, I have those measurements come from creating a square on your page. Okay, so that's 8 inches. And this is also 8 inches, right? So you've got the page itself is a rectangle, and we've divided these two lines using, measurements with the rectangle. But to create these cross lines, to get even portions, you need even sections, you need to create a square. And so this measurement came from creating an equal square, right? I hope I'm explaining that right. And I'm better at showing, and I learn better from showing, so I hope for those of you that learn better from listening to words aren't getting confused here. And basically I measured initially to know how much I needed, like where I got this 1 1/8. I had originally, the first time I ever did this, I measured from the center out. So you take however large your sheet of paper is width-wise, go from the center, because you've created this cross. Before you've created these diagonal lines, you've created vertical and horizontal lines. And then, so whatever this is, if it's 7.5, it's 8. So it was 8. So then I went 4 and 4, created that. 4, 4. I actually, on the first one I ever made, I actually made a square, so that might help you out. Here, I can do that on this if that helps some people, just to see that. I hope I'm not making this more confusing than it needs to be. Because again, this is not meant to be a stressful activity in any way. Okay, so you can see the square. I hope, well, maybe you can't. I'm just looking at my video screen and I don't know if that's showing up. But there is the lines, and that is a square. Okay, and then it's all, so we've got 8 equal sections. And from here, turn the page. This is where it gets fun. I like doing all of this, I find. And I even find, once you know what you're doing with creating the grid, I find that relaxing too. I'll just create like a bunch of grids ahead of time. And I have done more than what's shown in this notebook. I have done some and then ripped out the page. This book I'm keeping because I'm keeping a certain number of them that I want to then create in color. Okay. So from here, you use your compass and you just start creating circles. And the measurement can be any way you like it. It's just completely random, completely up to you, however you think. The more you start to create these, the more maybe what you want to try or where you want to go. You can also go back later and add more circles too. But yeah, that's basically how to create the template for this. Okay, just where I had ended the last, or the part one of this, I had been making some circles. I had noticed that I was going to run out of time, so I ended the video. We're just going to finish this. And one more. And again, this is just really random. I'm not really putting a lot of thought, because you can do all kinds of these. You can make as many as you want. And it really is up to you. And like I said, you can also just, like where I've left kind of a large gap, if that doesn't end up working, I can add in more. I can also, not use some of these lines if I want. And it's just really, really up to you. And whatever you do is amazing. Whatever you do is your creative expression. It's perfect, exactly as it is. Okay, so from here, my squeaky chair, sorry. So from here, again, this is going to be completely up to you, and maybe you want to start using pencil just to see what it's like. Like if you're not used to creating things like this, you might want to practice some designs with pencil at first. You might want to look at a bunch of other people's, there's so many people creating mandalas online. You might want to look at a bunch of other people's mandalas just for inspiration. Might want to try copying other people's mandalas. Now I've found, oddly enough, we all have our own artistic style. And even when I have created, say I've created something like this and I end up with it and I'm like, oh, it looks a bit too busy, or it's not really what I wanted to create in mind, I will try to I'm laughing because I know where I'm headed with this, but I will try to create the same thing, but then end up doing something that more of what I wanted. Or sometimes I'll make a mistake and I'll try to create the same thing and it'll never end up the same. It'll never end up the same. But that's great. That's actually a wonderful thing about artistic expression. And maybe you are the kind of person where you'll create exactly the same thing. But for myself, it always ends up a bit different. And that's why I was laughing a bit. Anyways, art is an expression. It's a personal expression. And there's no wrong, as far as I'm concerned. There'll be people who will argue with me, but as far as I'm concerned, someone who's been an artist my entire life, there is no way that is wrong in expressing yourself artistically. It's your way of expressing, and there's nothing wrong about it. Period. It's as far as I'm concerned. Okay. My 2 cents. So I'm gonna start here, and basically what I did too, when I'm using these particular pens, sometimes I find the ink, because I use them a lot, the ink will sometimes pool a bit, so I just make sure, but that doesn't happen with every kind of pen, but that's just what I was doing, and it might be helpful if somebody else uses pens that do the same thing. So lately I've liked creating a flower design, or a leaf sort of design to start my mandalas. And when I'm starting it, I just use, I'm using a rather hard pencil. If you're using a softer pencil, this will smear. So you'll want to use, this is just another piece of paper. You'll want to use that so that the whole side of your hand doesn't get black from lead. And I'll just use it just so you can see. And then again, you can do whatever you like with these. You don't have to draw the circles. I've liked the look of that, so I've been doing that lately. And I don't worry a whole lot that it's exactly perfect. These are hand-drawn. These are all not, if you want to get technical, they're not all exactly the same size. It's a bit of a wobble here, but it really does not matter. And then with the finished look of it all, it really does not matter. And again, they're for you. So I'm just going to create some circles here. More like egg shapes. And basically I just pick a shape and then I repeat it. And as you create these, if you've done any sort of crafting, any kind of art, you'll know this, but if something that's rather new to you, your mind and body will work together to try to create the most efficient way to do something. If you're doing a repetitive motion, repetitive kind of craft, art, so on. So the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. The easier, the better your coordination will get. The exact way you can draw will get. Your mind and body will work together to try to create the most efficient way to do it. So again, it just takes some practice. Which is why if you're starting brand new, you might want to start off with pencil because you can always erase it. You also can, here I'm going to show you how, with the thicker kind of paper, because like I said, this is watercolor paper. If you make and I'll purposely make a mistake, like that would bother me. Where I'm saying don't let things bother you. You also can just create it, and if it doesn't bother you, it really doesn't matter. With a line, something like that, that's going to end up bothering me personally. And if it does you as well. So what I've done, I take sharp little crafting scissors. You can take a blade, anything that's sharp. Now you want to be careful, obviously, whatever you're comfortable with, but I scrape the paper lightly. And you can't do it too hard or you'll make a hole in the paper, but with thicker paper, you can do this. And then I just erase. There we go. So little trick there. If you're just using regular paper, you can use, and you're using pen, I can't use whiteout. It just smells a bit too toxic, or any kind of acrylic paint, but you can, correct the mistakes that way. Also going to be coloring these in later, so that can be dealt with that way too. And I've started listening. I'll listen to some kind of something I'm learning, some kind of podcast, whatever, and I'll just start creating away. And that's the whole point. You want to get into sort of a meditative state where you're not thinking a whole lot about it, and just doing what feels right for you. Right here, I'm going to make this kind of a design. I'm just kind of eyeballing the center, but you can also, do this kind of thing ahead of time. If you want to get exact, you can get your ruler out, measure exactly the middle. And make you can make little dots, so when you go back to it, it's the least stress possible. I think I'm going to run out of time again here too. Yeah, in about 20 seconds. So, hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any further questions, you can comment on that. I'll try to answer as best I can, maybe with another video. And I hope you found this useful. Happy creating and enjoy. Much love. I just finished filming the how-to video for creating these hand-drawn mandalas that I've been doing lately. And then I decided to keep drawing the one I had started in the video. And what I do with these, as I go along, I take photos of each step because I really appreciate what they look like in each stage. And I find that's really fun later to look back at and just have a record of as well. So it might be something you want to do as too. I also realized for people who are really new to art, really new to doing something like this, I don't think I explained well enough, like maybe what all these lines are for. So with a mandala, if you definitely will want, if you're brand new to this, you'll definitely want to look up, look at ones I've posted already, but also look at all kinds of other people's that have posted online. You'll see that with a mandala, it's using designs in repetition. And some people want to create this as perfect as possible. With these hand-drawn ones, like I've already explained, it may not be exactly perfect. That's not the point. The point of my doing these and creating these is a type of meditation, type of stress relief. This one, if you really want to pick it apart, you get up close, the lines, when you get up close, you see the lines are a bit wobbly, it's not exactly identical, all of it. You back up, looks great. Well, as far as I'm concerned, looks great. And that is who you're doing it for, yourself, okay? So, and we can be our own worst critic, so don't let that stop you. But I've also found, like, I've been an artist my entire life, I've found that other people are not going to tear it, well, some will, but you have to ignore those kind of people. They're just going to, those are the kind of people who are just going to be miserable about everything anyways. In general, most people do not look closely enough to see what I just pointed out, the kind of, and they're going to be looking at it from a backed up point of view, They're not going to be taking magnifying glass and looking in at it. I would hope anyways. And again, not the point. That's not why you're doing these. You're doing them for stress relief. The end product, for me is very satisfying. It looks beautiful. Each step looks beautiful. Creates some sacred geometry type of shapes. Anyways, back to the lines. So it's repetitive. So you're using these lines to help you. You can also create, if you are brand new, you can divide it into even more even sections and create, put lines, extra lines down the middle of each section, if that helps you out. So that this point, for instance, would have a pencil line there. Where I just eyeballed it, there already would be a pencil line there, so it makes it even less stressful for you. And so basically these lines are here just to help you out. You're going to be using your imagination, your creativity, using whatever shapes you want, and the lines are there to help you with that. I'm going to put sort of a leaf shape, I guess you can call it, in here. So again, if I had the lines, it would already be there, but I just basically eyeball the center. Often I just draw it, but just to show you, I already mentioned this in the video, but you can put little dots. And if I'm not wanting to think about it much either, I do the same thing. Just eyeball the center or measure. and put little dot. And then there we go. And you just want to keep going like that until you go out. And like I said, you can use the circles you've created. You can add more. You know, if you find you want to do some sort of a detailed circle pattern or something that's really tiny, you can, you know, divide even that in half. They're there as guides for you, and it's completely up to you what to do with them. And that might be a bit too stressful for some people. So if that's the case, I suggest, and you still want to do something like this, I suggest putting as many grid lines as possible to make it the least stressful thing to do once you're actually creating it. And again, you can use, I'm grabbing my pencil that's part of the compass, but you know, if you're going to be creating it with pencil, you'll want an extra pencil, definitely eraser on hand. Just do it in pencil first. Yeah, so again, if there's any further questions, if I'm thinking something's obvious and it's not, you know, please ask. I've been wanting to create a video like this for a while, so it may not be perfect, and but it's done, something I wanted to do. Again, that's I hope that can be inspiration for people. If there's something you've been wanting to do for a while, just do it, you know, just do it. Today's going to be the day, and do it. And if something you want to put out there, just put it out there. Worst that can happen is absolutely everybody hates it, makes horrible comments, and then you're like, oh my God, and you delete it. Trust me, that's not going to happen. Not everybody's going to hate it. And probably what will surprise you is there's going to be a lot of people. I'm going to get teary-eyed here. There's going to be a lot of people loving what you do. And that'll just, you know, and that's what I want to, that's a message I could spread to everybody. I'm getting so emotional here. You matter. You all matter. Everybody matters. You're more than enough. Something's been in your mind. That's something I feel that's meant for you to share with the rest of us, with the rest of the world. And it's going to be a large amount of us who are going to want to see it and appreciate it. Yeah, I'm getting so emotional here. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it inspires you. Yeah, happy creating, and much, much, much love.